Now we are going to look at systems. Okay. So what are systems? Systems are entities which will take input. Okay, usually we denote it by a block like this, and then we give an input x of t, and that x of t will be transformed in some ways. Okay, so if t is the transformation on x of t, after transformation we will get a different signal which we call as y of t. Okay, so x of t is a time 1D signal where time is the independent variable. Okay, it has some variation with respect to time, but after the system process, okay, so processing the input signal, it will give you an output signal. So that processing and modification of the input signal is what we refer to as the transformation of the signal. Okay, so this is what basically the system do, and depending upon the way the system is going to transform the signal, we can classify the systems into different categories. Just like we have classified signals into various categories, we can also classify systems into various categories. So we are going to look at the classification of systems. Classification of systems. And some of these classifications are very important with respect to this course. So one of these is linear and non-linear systems. Systems can be classified into two categories in various ways. So one of the classification is linear and non-linear system. Okay. Now, a system is said to be linear if it satisfies two fundamental properties. The transformation introduced by the system satisfies two fundamental properties, and they are, okay, let me just write it here. A system is said to be linear if the transformation, so I have denoted here transformation of x of t gives y of t. So if the transformation satisfies two basic properties. And what are those basic properties? Number one is called homogeneity, and number two, superposition. Okay, superposition possibly you have studied as one of the network theorems. If a circuit is linear, then and if there are multiple sources, multiple voltage source or multiple current source, or one voltage source and one current source, then if you want to find out what is going to be the voltage at a particular node or a current through a particular branch, then what you do is that we can apply superposition theorem, wherein we apply the case where the one of the two voltage source is not present. Okay, we replace the voltage sources with one of the voltage source is replaced with its internal resistance, which is basically a short circuit if it's an ideal voltage source. Then we find out what is going to be the current or voltage with respect to the other, and then after finding out the current, we do the same by replacing with the second voltage source, and the first one is replaced with its internal resistance. So then we will get I2. So then if first voltage source is giving I1, second is giving I2, then sum of those will be the resultant current through the branch, or if it is voltage, V1 plus V2, etc. So that is basically superposition. So that is I will now write these two properties in a mathematical way. So what is homogeneity? Okay, so homogeneity, what is it? Okay, homogeneity means if there is a system so let's take some examples. Let's say that I'll write it in general way. If system is supplied with an input x of t, and suppose if it is giving y of t as output, then so this is if, and then a into x of t, if I give as input, if I get a into y of t, that means a is basically so let me write where a is a scalar. Okay, so we are just multiplying maybe by a factor, a real number or even a complex number. If you multiply the original input x of t with one constant, okay, maybe we are doubling the input, or maybe we are halving the input, then correspondingly the output is doubled or halved. So whatever is the multiplication of a does with x of t, same way y of t will be modified accordingly. Okay, if this is satisfied, we say that the system satisfies homogeneity. Okay, so examples we can say, let's say let's consider an example where y of t is equal to alpha x of t, okay, plus beta. Okay, so check whether this system satisfies the homogeneity. So this is the transformation that is going to happen on x of t. Okay, this is what the system does. Okay, this is, so we are giving x of t at the input of the system. Okay, so this is the system. We are giving x of t here, and y of t is a transformed output. The input is transformed. What does it do? Alpha is multiplying with x of t and beta is added. So that is what it does. Now the question is whether it is homogeneous. So to check for homogeneity, what we do is, so what will happen if I give a into x of t? So a into x of t, if I give, what will happen is wherever x of t comes, there now a into x of t comes. So this we will call as y of t and plus beta. So this will be the output corresponding to this particular input, so which can be written as a into alpha x of t plus beta. Okay, which is, this is not equal to a into y of t. You can see that. Okay, because a into y of t is what? A into y of t is a into alpha x of t plus beta. Okay, so these two are not the same, and therefore we say therefore this system is not satisfying homogeneity. Okay, so this system does not satisfy homogeneity. Let's consider another system. Now under what condition we can say that this will satisfy homogeneity? If beta equal to 0, then you can see that if beta was 0, then you can write y of t as just alpha into x of t, just an amplifier, and so if you give a into x of t, you will get a into alpha into x of t. Okay, so that way, so the system is not satisfying homogeneity. So let me write it more explicitly. If beta is not equal to 0, but if beta is equal to 0, then the system satisfies homogeneity. Okay, so another system, example 2. Let's say y of t is equal to x square of t. Okay, y of t is equal to x square of t. So that means if I give x of t to the system, I give x of t to the system, then we get x square. It will just square the input and give it as the output. Okay. Now, if I give a into x of t, what does the system will give? If I give a into x of t, the system will process a into x of t. That means it will square a into x of t. It will square. And what are we going to get? We get a square into x square of t, which is not equal to a into x square of t. Okay, so this is your y of t. So what I said was, if it satisfies homogeneity, when you give a into x of t, we should get a into y of t. But that is not what we are getting. We are getting a square into y of t. So therefore this is not satisfying homogeneity property. Okay, so this also doesn't satisfy homogeneity property. Another example, let's take an example of a system which satisfies homogeneity. X of t is given to a system. Now what does the system do? This system basically do this transformation, time scaling. Okay, it basically gives x of 2t. Okay, so this is our y of t. Wherever t comes, it will be replaced with 2t in x of t. So here, if I give a into x of t, what does the system do? Wherever t comes, it will replace it. It will give you a into x of 2t, which is same as a into y of t. So therefore, it satisfies homogeneity. Okay, it satisfies homogeneity. So this way you can check homogeneity. Only one simple thing you need to check, that is, you give the signal directly, you get y of t. You multiply it with a scalar value a, and then check whether your earlier output is multiplied by the same scalar quantity. If it is so, then it satisfies homogeneity. Okay, now the second property that it need to satisfy is the superposition. Superposition. So what is the superposition property? You have the system, you give x of t or x1 of t, you get y1 of t. You give x2 of t, you get y2 of t. Okay, if you give x1 of t, you are getting y1 of t, and you are giving x2 of t, you are getting y2 of t. Now if you give x1 of t plus x2 of t, then what do you get? If you are getting y1 of t plus y2 of t, then we say that the system is said to be satisfying superposition property. Okay, so superposition means individual responses to each signal. X1 of t is y1 of t, x2 of t it is y2 of t. Then sum of those two signals are given as input, then we will get sum of those two earlier responses. Okay, so that is what superposition property. Okay, the response to the sum of two signals is the sum of two individual responses. Okay, so that is what is superposition. Okay, so let us check our earlier systems whether it satisfies superposition or not. Okay, so let's check example. First one, we said y of t is equal to alpha x of t plus beta. So if I give x1 of t to the system, x1 of t to the system, I will get basically y1 of t, which is equal to alpha into x1 of t plus beta. If I give x2 of t, I will get y2 of t, which is alpha into x2 of t plus beta. So now my question is, what will I get if I give x1 of t plus x2 of t? So my y of t is going to be alpha into whatever is the signal, which is x1 of t plus x2 of t plus beta. Now if I rearrange, I can write it as alpha x1 of t plus beta. So this is your this is my y1 of t plus then alpha x2 of t, but I don't have any beta here. Okay, so therefore it doesn't satisfy superposition principle. Okay, if it was satisfying superposition principle, then I could have written it y1 of t plus y2 of t. So this is not equal to y2 of t. Okay, so therefore this system doesn't satisfy superposition principle. Okay, the second system, squaring. Example 2, y of t is equal to x square of t. Let's see whether this satisfies superposition principle. So if you give to the system x1 of t, then you will get y1 of t as square of x1 of t. x2 of t, if you give, you get y2 of t as x2 square of t. Then if I give x1 of t plus x2 of t, then you will get the output will be square of whatever this. So that is x1 of t plus x2 of t square, which is equal to x1 of t square plus x2 of t square plus 2x1 of t plus 2x1 of t into x1 of t into x2 of t. So this is basically your y1 of t, this is your y2 of t, but we have something extra. Okay, it is not just y1 of t plus y2 of t, it is y1 of t plus y2 of t plus something extra. So that extra makes it not satisfying the superposition principle. So therefore the system is not linear because it doesn't satisfy superposition principle. Superposition principle. It is also not satisfying homogeneity. So if any one of this is violated, the system is non-linear. So we are looking at basically the first classification of any system into linear and non-linear systems. Okay, now if okay, the next example was what? y of t is equal to x of 2t. Does this satisfy superposition? We have seen that it satisfies homogeneity, but now let's check whether it satisfies superposition. Again, we give to the system x1 of t and we get y1 of t as x1 of 2t. We give another signal x2 of t, and for that we get y2 of t as x2 of 2t. Then if I give the sum of x1 of t plus x2 of t, then what do I get? I will get basically a signal where t is replaced with 2t. That's what we did above also. So our y of t is equal to x1 of 2t, because there was t here, I replaced it with 2t, and then in x2 of t also I replaced t with 2t, which is now we can see that it is y1 of t plus y2 of t. So this is not only satisfying homogeneity, it is satisfying superposition also. Okay, so therefore this system y of t is equal to x of 2t is linear. So if a system has to be said to be linear, because it satisfies both homogeneity and superposition principle. Okay, so if it has to be linear, both of this property has to be satisfied. Okay, so we can find lots and lots of examples like this. Another example I can give is y of t is equal to sine of x of t. So you can try this yourself. Then y of t 1, 2 is equal to modulus of x of t. Then one more, see, y of t is equal to x of t minus tau. Time shifting, okay, delaying by some unit of time. So as if you work it out, we can see that definitely this is non-linear. Why? Because if you give a into x of t, it will take sine of a into x of t, but it is never equal to a into sine of x of t. So it doesn't satisfy homogeneity. So therefore you can say it is non-linear. And what about this one? Does it satisfy homogeneity? It also doesn't satisfy homogeneity, because if a is negative, then when you multiply, the modulus operation will remove the sign of a, and therefore you cannot have it as a into y of t. Okay, so this is also non-linear. And what about this? Here it is only a shifting operation. So if you give x a into x of t, you will get it as a into y of t. Homogeneity is satisfied. And what about linearity? The superposition. So if you give x1 of t plus x2 of t, in both cases t will be replaced with t minus tau, and therefore we will get it as y1 of t plus y2 of t. So this is a linear system. Okay, the other two are non-linear system. So this way you can work out problems. All you need to do is check for, I did not write all the step here, but you need to write that just like I wrote it above. Whenever simply writing and linear non-linear is not enough. You have to give the justification. You have to show how it satisfies homogeneity as well as superposition. And you can also check both property in a one go, so that also I will show. Okay, so let's take this third system in a one go, how we can check both superposition and homogeneity. So if this is the system and you are saying that x1 of t give you y1 of t and x2 of t give you y2 of t, then a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t, what does it give? This is what you have to check. So what is y1 of t? It is x1 of t minus tau, and this is x2 of t minus tau. So a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t, that is going to give a into x1, t is replaced with t minus tau, plus b into x2 of t minus tau, which is same as a into y1 of t plus b into y2 of t. So this is what we have to check. So if a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t gives a into y1 of t plus b into y2 of t, we say it satisfies both homogeneity and superposition, and therefore the system is linear. Okay, so this is the way of checking both homogeneity and superposition in one go. Okay, so all you need to do is, so earlier what we did was we multiplied with a constant and check whether we are getting the output which is multiplied with the same constant. Okay, so if I give x1 of t, I am getting x1 of t minus tau, and if I multiply x1 with a, I should get a into x1 of t minus tau. So that is homogeneity. Now if I have sum of two signal x1 plus x2, I will check whether I get y1 plus y2. But if you want to check both properties in a one go, then what we need to do is we need to take a linear combination, a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t. What is that? Am I getting a into y1 of t plus b into y2 of t? So the same constant is multiplying y1 of t and y2 of t. So if that is what you are getting, then you can say that it is linear. If you are not getting that, then you cannot say that. Okay, so now let's go to another classification. Another very important classification, number 2, is time variant and time invariant. Time variant and time invariant systems. So systems can be classified as linear and non-linear systems based on the above properties. Now we are going to look at time variant and time invariant system. Okay, so let's take examples. Okay, first let me give the definition. If a system gives output as y of t is equal to some transformation of x of t, then if we then the delayed input into the system if a system gives an output y of t is equal to transformation of x of t, then the delayed input to the system. So what does that mean? Will give delayed output. Okay, if this property is satisfied, okay, if a system gives an output y of t is equal to t transformation of x of t, then the delayed input into the system will give delayed output as y of t minus tau. Such systems are said to be time invariant. Okay, so let me give an explanation. So if I give x of t, the system is giving say y of t. Now if I give a second case, I delay the input. Delaying means what? Shifting to the right. So instead of x of t, I give x of t minus tau. Now if the system is giving you output which you can write as y of t minus earlier output, but that is now delayed. Okay, so then we say that it is time invariant system. Okay, if it doesn't satisfy, it is time variant. Okay, so let's take examples. Maybe the same example, some of the earlier example that we took, we can see here also. Example: y of t is equal to alpha x of t plus beta. So this is what the system does. So if I give x of t to the system, it will give me alpha into x of t plus beta. Now if I delay this output, what is that we are getting? So we take this output and then we pass it through a delay. Just delay the output. Wherever t comes, it will be replaced with the t minus tau. So alpha into x of t minus tau plus beta. Now what we need to check, so this is step 1. Now in step 2 what we do is we delay the input, and that delayed input is given to the system. So that means x of t will become x of t minus tau. Now this is given into the system. Delayed input is given into the system. So what will it do? It will just multiply whatever input it gets and then add it with beta. Okay, so as you can see that both are same. Okay, so therefore the system is time invariant. Okay, another example. Let's take an example where it doesn't satisfy. Example 2. Y of t is equal to x of 2t. Time scaling. Okay, step 1 what we do? We take the input x of t, give it into the system, check what is the output. So what is the output? It will be x of 2t. Then what we do? We delay. We pass it through the delay, that will give you the delayed output. So delayed output is x of 2 into t will be replaced with t minus tau. So this is equal to x of 2t minus 2 tau. In the second step what we do? We first delay the input. Instead of giving it right now, we give it little later, and then we check the output. If both are same, so we delay. So if you delay, what will happen? X of t minus tau will come. Now this is given as input to the system. Okay, so what will the system do? The system will replace wherever t comes, it will replace with 2t. That's what the system do. So this will give you x of 2t minus tau. And obviously they are not equal, right? So above it was the delayed version of the original input is x of 2t minus 2 tau, whereas the output of the delayed input version is x of 2t minus tau. So they are not same, so therefore it is time invariant. Is time invariant. Okay, let's see one more example. Y of t. So all the systems I am representing using input output relationship. Y of t is equal to say x of modulus t. Y of t is equal to x of modulus t. So this is what the system does. So we keep to the system first, x of t. What will you get? You will get x of modulus t. And then we delay. And t will be replaced with t minus tau. Then the second step, what we do, instead of giving it to the system directly, we delay it first. Input is delayed. So that will give you x of t minus tau. And then we give to the system. What does the system do? Replace t with modulus t. So you will get x of modulus t minus tau. Again, they are not equal. Therefore, this system is time variant. Okay. So this way you can check any given system whether it is time variant or time invariant. All you need to do is you need to take a two-step approach. First step is where you directly give the input to the system and then delay the output. So that will be the delayed version of the output. Then what we do is the input is delayed and then give that delayed input to the system. So if that is also giving the same output, then the system is time invariant. So that is what I wrote here. If a system gives an output y of t is equal to transformation of x of t, then the delayed input to the system will keep delayed. If that is what is happening, such system is said to be time invariant. Okay, so one more classification let us do before the break. Third, causal and non-causal system. So what does it mean? A system is said to be causal if its current output doesn't depend on future input. Okay, a system is said to be causal if its current output, so the output which is right now, doesn't depend on future inputs. Okay, that is what we refer to as causal system. So that makes sense, right? Any system should not give an output which depends on future input, okay, because it doesn't know what is the input that would come in the future, and based on that it right now gives an output. So some of the system which I have described earlier are not really causal, okay. So let us take examples. Y of t is equal to alpha x of t plus beta. So if you look at here, at time t equal to any time you give, that instant the output depends only on the input at the same instant, okay. So here the output at time t depends only on the input at the same time, not on the future times, okay. So therefore it is a causal system. This way you have to argue, okay. So that is example 1. Now example 2, y of t is equal to x of 2t. So let's see here what is happening here. If time is equal to say 1 second, okay, so y of 1 is equal to x of 2 second. So right now if the time is 1 second, it is giving you an output which depends upon the input at 2 seconds, which is not practical, okay. So therefore that is the output at t equal to 1 second depends on t equal to 2 seconds, okay. Therefore system is non-causal. And non-causal systems cannot be implemented practically, okay, because that doesn't make sense. It is as if the system is able to predict what input you will give to the system, okay, and it has some knowledge about what you are going to give input, and based on that it is deciding its current output, which is doesn't look like a real case. Okay, another example, example 3, y of t is equal to x of minus t, time inversion. So here what happens? So if t is equal to 1 second, then y of 1 is equal to x of minus 1. This looks like the current output is depending upon previous input, okay. So this is okay, but if t is minus 1 second, y of minus 1 is equal to x of plus 1. This is a problem. Okay, why it is a problem? Because minus 1 is the earlier time and plus 1 is a later time. So the value of output at minus 1 second depends upon an input that you are going to give to the system 2 seconds later. So that doesn't make sense. So we say that though the first part is okay, but still, because the second part, cases like this is just one instance I am showing where it is violated. So non-causal. Okay, so let me take one more example. Example 4. Y of t is equal to modulus x of, or let me take modulus x of tau, modulus of x of t minus tau. So here where tau is greater than 0. Any problem here? If at any instant of time you can see that the output depends only on an earlier input, that's okay. Here for any instant of time the output depend only on the signal value at an earlier time. Okay, earlier time means t minus tau, so that is a earlier time, so it's okay. But if it was t plus tau, then it cannot be causal. Okay, but here t minus tau, therefore system is causal. Okay, so we will take a break.